everybody. I'm so glad that you guys are here this morning. Who was here last week? Raise your hand if you were here last week. Okay, that's about the same percentage we had first hour, so we got to do a little bit of review here. Who did we talk about last week? Esther, very good. We started a new unit last week, and we started off by talking about how everything in the Bible is connected, how God has a plan from the very, very beginning, and He shows that plan several times as we go throughout the Old Testament, that He is going to eventually send His Son when we get to the New Testament, and He sends His Son to save us. But in the Old Testament, we see this over and over, this kind of little glimpse into the future and how God's going to do things. So we see over and over that God had a plan from the very beginning of time. And we are still in the Old Testament for just a few weeks, and we are in the story of Esther. We stopped with the story of Esther at a very crucial moment in Esther's story as she began to approach the king. But as we back up, I want to talk about who Esther was. Esther was from where? What nationality was she? What was her background? She was Jewish. Okay, did Esther grow up in a royal house? No. Did she grow up knowing that eventually she would become queen?
No.
No. Did she become a princess and then marry a prince and they became king and queen? No, that wasn't Esther's story at all. Esther was Jewish. She lived outside of the gates of the palace, and the king of where? Who remembers? Started with a P? Persia, very good. King of Persia got rid of the old queen because she didn't listen to what he said anymore. Really and truly. He got rid of her and decided he needed a new queen. And in order to choose the new queen, he had all of the women kind of parade in front of him, had this little beauty contest, and he chose Esther, a beautiful young Jewish woman, to become queen. Did they fall in love and live happily ever after? Not so much, no. She became queen and moved into the palace, knowing that the last queen he had gotten rid of because she didn't listen to him anymore. So that's where Queen Esther was. She didn't have all of this training. Now, if you are born into a royal family, you are raised from the beginning to act a certain way, to look a certain way, to carry yourself a certain way, to show everyone how royalty should act from the beginning of your life. We've seen some princesses because there's still royalty in Europe, actual royalty. We've seen princesses in the last several years. You guys have probably known princesses there who were not born into the royal family, but fell in love with princes and were then brought into the royal family and then had to learn how to be a princess and how to act. And I guarantee you they had to go through classes and lessons and all kinds of things in how to carry themselves. Because if you see them from before they were princesses to where they are after princesses, they are drastically different. Now their personalities and things I'm sure are the same, but the way that they carry themselves, the things that they say, how they talk to a camera, how they walk, how they talk, everything kind of changes because they are trained to appear a certain way. They go through a lot of training. So I thought it might be fun this week to have another little challenge. Last week's challenge had a courage and trust challenge, if you were here. I held a bag of water over a girl's head and poked holes in the bag with a pencil. And I promised her that she would not get wet, and she luckily did not. Almost, but not. And she had to trust me and have courage. This week I'm going to have a different challenge. I'm going to put you guys through princess training. Specifically, I'm going to put two of you through princess training. I know that half of you are boys, but since we are talking about Queen Esther, we are going to talk about princesses or training to be a queen and different things that you would have to do. So what I'm going to need is two people that are willing to look silly this morning. I guarantee you will look silly. You've got to be willing to do anything. You've got to put yourself out there. And if I do have a boy out there that wants to try princess training, I am not against that. I had one last hour. I will tell you, he knocked princess training out of the park. It was impressive. Okay? He has a sister. I'll say that. But I don't want to tell you too much about what you're going to do before you get up here. I just know that I need a girl that can do a little princess training this morning. You know what? You almost have a princessy dress on, right there in the yellow. Come on up. Come on up and help me. All right.
We're going to try to
Perfect. Okay, she's ready for princess training. Now, who else wants to be, because we're going to have a little competition here. For princess training, let's see. Who might I have? Do you want to come help me? Come on up. Had a boy and a girl last hour, we have a boy and a girl this hour. All right. Caitlin, why don't you go right over there? Why don't you come right over here? Okay, the first challenge is not so bad. What's your name? Wyatt. Everybody say hi, Wyatt.
Hi, Wyatt.
Everybody say hi, Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
All right, the first thing we're going to do is they're going to test themselves and see how well they can carry themselves. And we're going to check their posture and how they move, because that's one of the very first things that you have to learn, is how to carry yourself and how to walk and move like a princess. The way they're going to do that is they're going to take a book and balance it over their head. Has anybody ever tried this? And what you have to do is balance the book on your head. In order to do that, to carry your posture, if you guys want to check your posture, your shoulders should be back, your chin should be level with the ground. Might have used the other book. I used the other book. I thought maybe I'd try this one this hour since it works so well. And you have to keep yourself steady as you move. And you move and walk heel to toe, keeping your eyes forward and trying not to let the book fall. Okay? So what they're going to do is they're going to walk, not with their hands on their book, but I'm going to do this quickly. Walk to the circle, back to the circle, and then, would you stand up for me, please, and just move right over to the side? They're going to have to come over here, and again, without their hands on the book, but simply sit down and do their best to not let the book fall. All right, how do you think they're going to do? Who do you think is going to do better? Our girl or our boy? All right, let's see. I told you our boy last hour.
She said she was going to do better.
He managed to do it without the book falling once. It was really good.
That's true.
All right, Caitlin, you think you can do just as well? I'm going to let you choose. I have two books, a thin book and a thick book. Which you want the thick book? All right, that means this one's yours. So you guys are going to stand. My assistants over here are going to use the camera so that Zoom can still see, and we're filming this morning so that we can put it online, and so they're going to follow you with the cameras. When I say go, you're going to walk to the circle as best as you can with your hands off of the book, balancing the book on your head, turn around, come back, and sit. Are you ready? Ready, Caitlin? Ready, set, go. And it's not a speed challenge, so you can take your time. Oh, there we lost one. Not a speed challenge, so don't worry about that. Take your time. Test your posture. Check out Wyatt. Oh, that's all right, Caitlin. Try again. It's okay. All right, can he do it? Can he sit down without it falling? Here has done better with the posture. Very nice job. Our first hour, our girl actually gave up. She was like, forget it, I'm out, I'm done. She just walked back with the book behind her, no big deal. All right, so nice job. Sometimes boys have better, posture and carriage than girls do, so we're going to do a different kind of challenge this time. Now that you have your posture set and you know how you should carry yourself, princesses always have to look a certain way, so they have to be trained in how to groom themselves, how to do their hair, their makeup.
I'm not yet.
But luckily I'm not going to make you look too silly because I'm not going to put hair and makeup on you, nor am I going to let you do it to me. We're going to paint nails. don't have to go around with painted nails the rest of the day. I'm going to let you paint mine. The catch is, you're going to do it blindfolded. Alright? So, they're going to take Mr. Josh is going to hold the bottles. They're going to take the brush and try and paint 3 of my fingernails, and we're going to see who does it better, okay? Alright, since she didn't choose the book first, you get to choose your color. Purple or pink? Purple. Alright, which means you get pink, Caitlin. Okay, so we're going to put blindfolds. Okay, Caitlin, here we go. Over your leg, just so that you don't drip anything. This over your legs, so you don't drip anything. We didn't have any drips last hour, but just making sure. This over my legs, so they don't drip anything. All right. Who do you think's gonna do better on this one? Okay. Who says Caitlin? Who says Wyatt? Oh, Wyatt, they have a lot of confidence in you. All right. All you have to do is 3 fingers. You can hold my hand, you can find your fingers however you want to do it, and we'll see who does better. Okay, so Caitlin, go ahead and take the brush. And as soon as we get them set up, we'll start some music, Mr. Blue. All right, so Caitlin, here's this hand. Okay. All right, and Wyatt, here's this hand. However you want to hold it. Hold it like a pencil. There you go. All right, so here's my hand. Okay, so each of you have to find 3 fingers. Make sure she doesn't get anyone. And paint 3 fingers. Ready, set, go. Come on. Caitlin's doing really well over there. Okay, she's got 1. That's yeah. Wyatt's got 1. It's okay to get it on your fingers. I have no problem with you. We'll take it off. Caitlin has 2. So I just want to live my head. Wyatt has 2. I just want to live my head. I want to be careful. I want to be go for the thumb. Nice. Okay, they're both done. Okay, I'm going to hold them up. Mr. Josh is going to put the bottles back together. We'll pull, yes, you can take that off. Caitlin, you can take yours off. There you go. Okay. Who do you think did better? Okay. So we had a different approach here. Caitlin did the 3 in the middle. Wyatt did every other, which is actually a little impressive too. So it looks like I intended that. I need to go back with the other and do pink or something. Okay, so here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. They actually both did really well. I'm going to show them to Zoom. I'm not sure who did better on that. There might be a little more purple. I know Wyatt ended up with a little bit, but actually they both did really well. So give them a big round of applause. Good. Okay, the last challenge may be my favorite. Because after you have learned how to carry yourself and after you have learned how to present yourself and look beautiful-ish, you have to, of course, go to lots of balls and parties. And you have to know how to dance. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a video up on the screen. It's just a couple of minutes long, about 2.5 minutes, and it is going to teach them a little dance sequence. And then at the end of the video, the music plays and they have to do the dance sequence. Alright, so they're going to be able to turn around and watch it the whole time. I'm not going to make them flip around and do it without watching it the second time, because it is a lot to catch on. But you guys will watch from behind and see how well they do. Here's the part where you can be involved, because I know several of you have said, well, I can do that, I can do that. Okay, so go ahead, and if you would like to try it, you can test it. If you want to learn the dance and try it along with them, you can stand up learn the dance, do it along with them for this part, okay? You guys ready? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, no, I'm out. All right, we're gonna see how well you do, because you've really done well on the first two. Impressive so far. Both of you have. All right, go ahead and stand up. If you want to watch and try it yourself, go ahead and stand up. Mr. Baloo, you can go ahead and start it.
Jump to your left, making a box shape either side of you. Knees nice and high. So you're going to go 4 jumps. Ready? 5, 6, 7, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have a little step that you repeat twice here. So you're going to go brush, 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 brush. Making sure you bend your knees and you brush your opposite shoulder. Okay? We're going to add them 2 steps together. Ready? 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Brush, 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 brush. Very good. Now, these are on the dance, 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 dance. Now from here, you step out with your right foot. You're going to go double pump. Pump, pump. Together, single pump, together. We repeat our little dance, 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 dance move, and you're going to go dance, dance, dance. Now this time, you only do 1 on the left shoulder. You're going to step forward with your left foot. Come on. Very, very good. Lovely. From here, we're going to carry straight on. You step with your right foot towards your right, and you're going to go. Flick the hands. Come in. Flick the hands. Come in. Do the same step, going towards your left. Flick the hands. Come in. Flick the hands. Come in. Very, very good. We're going to carry on just a little bit more. 1 step from here, you're going to do a box step. You're going to start with your right foot going forward. You're going to go out the arms, out the arms. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the fingers. Roll the arms, roll, and down. From here, we've got 1 more step. 2, I like it. You're going to go jump into the right twice. This step is called the Reebok. You're going to grab your left fist like this. 2 little bunny hops while you push forward. You're going to go push, push, other side. Push, push. Now from here, you slide to your right. Slide, put the foot behind. Slide, put the foot behind. And repeat that step again from the Reebok. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, slide 5, 6, 7, and now from here you repeat your, come on. You step back with your right foot. Come on. Yes, guys.
All right, here it goes.
Music.
We go with the music, put it all together. Let's see how well they do.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
Twisting my
everything they did. There's no way to call that. They both did a really good. I think Caitlin probably got the dancing, but Van Wyatt was still in on that. He did not want to do it, right? No, he did a great job. Okay, you guys can head back to your seats. So Queen Esther, I guarantee you, when she became queen, there were lots of things that she had to learn about how to carry herself, how to act. She had to learn all of the rules, the regulations about being a queen, how to approach the king, especially how to talk to him when he didn't want to talk to her, which is where we left off on our story last week. She knew that you could not just go and talk to the king. He had to call for you. And if you went and approached him without him calling for you, there was something in particular he had to do before you could speak to him. What was it? Yes? Yeah, he had to hold out his golden scepter. And if he didn't do that, if he didn't want to talk to you and you had gone to see him, what could happen to you? He could have you killed. Can you imagine? If you're approaching your husband, the king, and if he doesn't want to see you, you could die. I mean, it's just that simple. So she's having to learn all of these things and being trained. So that's where we left off on our story last week, because something was happening with the Jewish people. Shh. What had happened? What did she find out about the Jewish people?
Somebody's playing a
Somebody was planning to kill him. Who was that? Haman. And who did she find out about that plan from? Mordecai. Who was Mordecai? Her cousin. So her cousin told her there is a plan to kill the Jews, our entire family, all of our people, including you. And Queen Esther, now that you are queen, you are there. You can talk to the king. You can try and get this plan changed. But it's not just that she could go to him and say, oh, honey, I love you, and this is happening. I don't want it to happen. Please don't make it happen. That was not the way you talked to the king. And that was not the relationship that they had. Remember, he got rid of the last queen because she didn't listen to him. If he doesn't want to talk to her, he could just kill her, find somebody new. So we left off the story last week of Mordecai telling her, Esther, maybe God has you in this place. Maybe God has put you here for a reason. Maybe God had a plan all along to put you in this place. And please, please, go to the king and plead for our people. So we're going to pick up our story this week with our Bible story lesson and see what happened when Queen Esther decided to approach the king.
The Jews in Persia were in trouble. Haman, an enemy of the Jews, was plotting to kill all of them. Esther was queen, and she was also a Jew. She was going to try to help them. Esther, her cousin Mordecai, and the Jewish people fasted for 3 days. On the third day, Esther went to the king. The king was sitting on his throne. He saw Esther and held out his golden scepter. Esther walked toward him and touched the tip of the scepter. "What is it, Queen Esther?" the king asked. "What do you want to ask me? I will give you anything, up to half of my kingdom." Esther said, "Would you and Haman come to a feast today? I have prepared it." So Haman and the king went to Esther's feast. As they sat after eating, the king said, "What do you want, Queen Esther? I will give you anything, up to half of my kingdom." "Please come to my feast tomorrow, you and Haman," Esther said. The king agreed. That night, Haman went home and had gallows made where he could hang Mordecai. Haman often saw Mordecai sitting outside the palace, and Haman hated him. The next day, Haman and the king went to Esther's feast. As they sat after eating, the king said, "What do you want, Queen Esther? I will give you anything, up to half of my kingdom." Esther spoke up. "There is a plan to kill me and my people." The king replied, "Who is responsible for this plan?" "This evil enemy, Haman," Esther said. The king was angry. He ordered for Haman to be hanged on the gallows Haman had built to kill Mordecai. Haman was hanged, and the king was not angry anymore. He made a law to keep the Jewish people safe from their enemies. God was in control over Haman's evil plan to destroy the Jews. Like Haman, Satan wants to destroy believers. Satan thought he had won when Jesus died on the cross, but God raised Jesus from the dead and defeated Satan once and for all.
All right, so what did Esther ask the people to do before she went to talk to the king?
Fast for 3 days.
Fast for 3 days. What does fast mean?
Not eating.
To not eat, not drink. And so that they were very focused on talking to God. So whenever they felt hunger, felt thirst, that would remind them, I need to speak with God. I need to petition for Esther. I need to request. Hang on, let me get Zoom back here. There we go. I need to focus all of my energy on praying and asking God to be in on this, to take care of our people, to take care of Esther. So Esther approached the king, and he held out his scepter. She touched the tip, and he said, okay, Esther, what is it that you want to ask me? And did she say, King, there's a plot to kill my people, and I really want you to save us?
No.
No, she didn't. What did she say? What did she ask him?
She asked him to come to his feast.
Yeah, come to a feast, come to a banquet, and invite who? Haman, the guy who made the plot to try and kill him. She's going to invite him to a big dinner. Okay, so they all come to a big banquet, to a dinner. They eat, they enjoy their time, they're very happy. At the end, the king says, Esther, what is it that you want from me? Up to half of my kingdom will be yours, just ask. And at that point did she say, okay, please save my people, there's a plot to kill them. No, she didn't. What did she say? Come to another banquet, come to another feast tomorrow night. So they all left, but Haman went and did something that night. What did he build?
A gallows.
A gallows. What is a gallows?
Something to hang up.
It's a place for someone to be hanged. It's a platform with a big, structure that has a rope that comes down that literally they put around the neck of the person and hang them until they die. It's a terrible, terrible way to die, to be killed. And who did he want to put at that gallows? Mordecai, because he hated him. He wanted to kill all the Jews, but he wanted to specifically take Mordecai, our cousin, put him out in the middle of the city and hang him, kill him in front of everybody. Just pure evil. Make an example of this person. Drag him out. Show everybody how he's going to die. But instead of asking for what she wanted, for the king to save them in that first banquet, she just invites him again to another banquet and invites Haman again. So the second banquet comes. She prepares a feast. They eat, they drink, they enjoy their time. At the end, the king says, Queen Esther, what is it that you want? Up to half of my kingdom, it will be yours. And she says what?
Please save my people.
Please save my people. There is a plot to kill my people, to kill all of the Jews, all of my family, including me. Please, king, if it pleases you, will you please save our people? He says, well, who would form this terrible plot? Of course, I will save your people. I will make a promise. Who would do this? And what does she say? Haman. Hey, it's that guy that's been at dinner the last couple of nights. That one right there that you've been dining with. He's right here in the room. What do you want to do? So what does the king do?
Kill him. Hang him on a gallows.
He takes him and kills him, but not just takes him away, puts him in a dungeon, where nobody sees him, but he actually hangs him in the gallows that Haman had built to kill Mordecai. If that doesn't show you that God had a plan from the beginning and put all those pieces in place, I don't know what does. Esther was not prepared for any of this. Esther was likely trained how to walk and talk and be beautiful and dance and do all of these things that a princess or a queen should. She was never trained to try and approach the king and plead for her life and the life of her people. But God prepared her for those things. God put everything in place way before Esther had ever become queen. God had a plan for his people. God put Esther in that place at that time to save his people. God put Mordecai in that place at that time to plead for Esther to save his people. God put the king in place at that time. Everything about the plan was to God's will because God is always in control and God always has a plan. We see that throughout the Bible, from the very beginning all the way to the end, that God has a plan. And from the beginning, he has a plan to save his people. We see it mirrored several times in the Old Testament before Jesus ever comes to earth to save everybody. But we see it in stories like this with Esther, where there is a plan for someone to come and save God's people. That God had a plan. He had a person, he had everything in place for that time, for that reason. And he did that all the way through time until he finally sent his son to save us all. And God continues to have a plan and a purpose daily. And the cool thing is we see that through the Old Testament, we see that through the New Testament, that God had a plan from the beginning. We can know and believe that God has a plan and a purpose for each one of us From even before we are born, He has put you here in this place at this time for a purpose. And the great thing is, we don't have to go through this training and not know what we're doing, because God is preparing you and training you from the beginning so that you are the right person at the right place at the right time to do what it is that He needs. Now, is that going to happen in 40 years and you've got training for the, until you're 50, 60, whatever it is? Maybe. Is it going to happen tomorrow when you've been training for the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years? No. Maybe. Because it's God's plan. It's not ours. We have no idea how or when He's going to use us. But we can be confident that He does. That He has a plan and a reason that you are where you are at this time. How cool is that? Creator of the entire world has a plan for you and has since before you were born to have you in this room at this time with a plan and a purpose for each of your lives. Leader, student, whatever it is. That's awesome. You guys are going to talk more about that in your small groups in just a minute. We're going